Let's look at the Zscaler UVM Admin Portal dashboard. In the left panel, we have the Tickets tab. A ticket is a group of related findings aggregated into a single work item that can be fixed as one task. Tickets are the operational entity through which you view and remediate your organization's vulnerabilities. Ticket View in the UVM dashboard provides a centralized view of the tickets in your account. This is where you explore ticket details and status, assign tickets to remediation owners, and initiate ticket remediation by dispatching tasks to case management platforms.
Your Ticket View screen is set up with system built-in saved views for common use.
Of these, the default view is the Active View, previewing all active tickets. As you can see, on this page we call View all the tickets based on the category of the ticket selected. The ticket screen has 7 built-in saved views with predefined filter selections, providing quick access to common data scopes. In Active View, we can see all active tickets, that is, all tickets with at least one active finding. Closed View shows all tickets with a status tagged as closed in status settings, by default confirmed.
In Missing Assignee View, we can see all tickets with an unpopulated assignee field.
Though, External Ticket Created View shows all UVM tickets that are not linked to an external case management issue. In Over SLA, we can view all open tickets with expired SLAs. Pending Confirmation View shows all tickets automatically set as inactive as they no longer contain active findings, but have not yet been manually set as closed by the assignee. And last but not the least, in the tickets with new findings, we can see all tickets to which findings were added in the last week. Asset View gives a centralized overview of asset risk and context. This includes open vulnerabilities, threats, and additional information about the assets, such as risk and mitigating factors. Using Asset View, you can get a sense of the environmental risk at a high level and drill down to any specific asset to see related information. The Asset View works similarly to the Ticket View and provides you with a comprehensive overview of all the assets included in your account. As you can see, in the Asset page, a list of all the assets can be displayed based on whether the state of the asset is active, archive, or inactive. The Asset View table will detail all active assets, including the risk score, which is the aggregated risk score of the findings related to the asset. A common use case will present the highest severity score related to the asset. Risk mass, which is the sum of all severity scores of the active findings associated with the asset. Owner, the sources from which information on the asset is retrieved. Crown jewel, basically a true/false value of whether the asset is defined as crown jewel. Site, last seen, and the total findings, which is the sum of the active findings per severity. Also, if you click on the overview, it will display the asset details using parameters like number of assets by risk score, asset count by type, asset count by operating system. Let's move on to the Finding View. A finding represents a vulnerability found on an asset and a specific product. There are different types of findings: CVE, misconfigurations, exposed secrets, etc. Similar findings are grouped into tickets according to different considerations. For example, a common process is grouping according to the vulnerable product and the remediation team. The Findings View gathers all your findings in one place for you to track and analyze. In addition to combining all available data from various sources, the Findings View also provides further vulnerability context from our AI-driven threat intelligence. The Findings screen has 5 built-in views: Active, Critical, and High Findings, where all active findings with a critical or high severity.
New Findings, in which all active findings that were first seen in the last 7 days.
Active CVE Vulnerabilities, for all active CVE type findings. Active Misconfig. Here, all active misconfig type findings are listed. And lastly, Known Exploited Active Findings, for all active findings, with the field Known Exploited set as true. The Findings View table details findings in the selected view. By default, this is the Active, Critical, and High Findings out-of-the-box view by Avalor, including the field's type, the finding type, for example CVE, misconfig, etc., severity score, the finding's Avalor severity score, title, source, the sources from which information on the finding is retrieved, asset key, the asset the finding is linked to, asset type, the type of asset the finding is linked to if the finding is a CVE ID first/last seen component, the vulnerable software or package affected by the finding, active/editors. At the top of the page are 3 charts that provide high-level insights into the findings in your account. The chart view is collapsible and will be affected by the selected view and filters. Let's click on the overview to view the charts. Here we can see the finding by parameters like findings by severity, findings count by source name, finding duplication, which details the number of findings retrieved from different sources, and how the Avalar platform increases efficiency by narrowing the number of duplicates and grouping findings into meaningful tickets. Let's move on to the settings. Here we have grouping rules. Ticket grouping rules are highly customizable and easily adjustable rules that aggregate findings with similar attributes, for example asset type, finding type, into tickets, allowing for a more focused and productive work process. A grouping rule set is a collection of individual rules designed to group findings into tickets based on specific conditions appropriate for your business logic. You can create multiple sets of grouping logic by clicking on the New Rule Set button on the top right of the page. However, only one rule set can be activated at once. You can click on the ticket statuses to have a clear picture of the statuses of the tickets. Status of the ticket can be in any one of the categories like discovered, opened, in progress, blocked, closed, rejected. Also, as you can see, we can add ticket status too. Let's move on to the score. In vulnerability management, we rely on a vulnerability's severity to decide our course of action. The severity score of a particular vulnerability, typically ranging in Avalar on a scale from 0 to 10, influences the criticality of its handling. For example, if a vulnerability has a severity score of 10.0, addressing this issue takes precedence over vulnerabilities with lower scores. At Avalar, we can calculate a finding severity score by considering asset context, as well as context from additional industry tools and sources. Asset context is divided into two categories. Base score, which is an initial numerical value derived from the processing of all the score inputs gathered from a particular finding. Risk and mitigating factors, which are additional factors tailored to the unique context of the organization that can shift the score depending on their weight. In this page, you can configure the severity score by setting up the base score and the risk and the mitigating factors. The Vulnerabilities application features a built-in remediation history dashboard that showcases insights into remediation efficiency, SLA compliance, and the overall count and trend of tickets across statuses, teams, and severity levels. By leveraging your account's historical data, this dashboard is particularly valuable for identifying patterns in your remediation efforts. As you can see, the remediation history dashboard includes multiple charts like top panel chart, key metrics over time, active ticket progress over time, open ticket by status, and analyze remediation work. In the dashboard, we can add more filters basis our need by clicking on the plus button. In the dashboard, the key metric overtime graph, which is the chart that offers valuable insights into performance trends, allowing you to monitor improvements in metrics like MTTR and open tickets exceeding SLA overtime. Next, in the active ticket progress over time, chart trends of discovered versus remediated findings across various severity levels is revealed. This is helpful for evaluating the effectiveness of your remediation efforts, highlighting how well your organization addresses emerging vulnerabilities over time. The open ticket by status chart shows the sum of open tickets regardless of state, active, inactive, broken down by status buckets, and last but not the least, analyze remediation work chart. This chart offers a comprehensive comparison of teams based on their efficiency and SLA compliance in vulnerability management efforts. It enables you to analyze each team's performance, helping to identify strengths and specific areas for improvement in their workflow processes. You can download the report in CSV file as well as in the PDF file. Now let's move to the risk dashboard. The Vulnerabilities application features a built-in risk dashboard that showcases charts offering high-level insights into your organization's vulnerability-related risk. Risk is measured by analyzing the severity scores of your organization's vulnerabilities. Leveraging your account's historical data, this dashboard is particularly valuable for identifying trends, assessing the effectiveness of remediation efforts, and prioritizing risk management strategies. As you can see, the risk dashboard is created based on the filters, and we can add new filters as well upon need. The charts in the page present data on your account's findings, visualized and organized to facilitate effective risk assessment. We might notice the charts we have here include overall risk, which represents the average severity score of active findings in your account, showing a trend upward or downward compared to the end of last month. We also have key metrics over time chart. This chart can be used to pinpoint specific months, with significant increases or decreases in the number of active findings, indicating the effectiveness of remediation efforts or the impact of new findings introduced during specific periods. Similarly, we have charts like findings by source names, findings by asset type, number of assets by risk score, which displays the number of assets across the different risk score ranges, with increments of 0.5, and the dashboard. As you can see, we have a tile for the number of active findings in your account, showing a trend upward or downward compared to the end of last month. And vulnerable asset, which is the number represents the count of active assets that contain active findings, showing a trend upward or downward compared to the end of last month. An increasing number of vulnerable assets may signal a growing vulnerability exposure. In the unique CVEs tile, the number represents the count of unique CVEs linked to your active findings, showing a trend upward or downward compared to the end of last month. Lastly, risk severity by chart represents risk scattered across your organization's assets over time. Note that the field selection in the overview filters the risk severity over time chart, influencing the data it presents. In this page in the top right, you can select your preferred scoring method at the top right of the dashboard and export the dashboard in PDF format.